manifesting what you want is actually really easy in theory because it already exists. Everything that you want already exists. Source has already answered it. So your desire is there vibrating, ready for you whenever you are ready for it. And that's the thing. You have to get ready for your desire. You can't talk against it. That's the thing, is that you can't talk against it. You have to vibrationally get prepared for your desire. You have to understand that your desire already exists. It already exists in the vortex. So now you're trying to achieve a steady vibration that matches the frequency of the vortex, which means you just have to feel good. And in you feeling good, what's in the vortex, what your inner being has gathered on your behalf, will flow into your mind. It'll transfer into your mind. And that's literally on genius. That's how you are source energy. That's why you are source energy. You didn't come here to be the manifester of everything. And that's what's so interesting is that you want to manifest everything, but the only thing that you have to really manifest is the emotion. Because once you can focus on the emotion, once you conjure the emotion within yourself, then that desire has to be fulfilled. The universe, law of attraction, has to give it to you. You see, you're really vibrational, but yet you're still so physical. You're so enamored with reality. So when we say, there's $1 million in your vortex, that might not be that interesting to you, because that's great for someone, but it's not great for you because you can't see it yet. You're not claiming it as a reality, the reality of your vibrational fortune, because it's not it's not in your bank account yet, because you're physical. You need it to be an amount in your bank account right now, or else it's not real. It's not something that you can enjoy. It's something that you will be dissatisfied, because as far as you're concerned, it's absent. But you see, if you were to wake up in the morning today and look at your phone and see that $1 million was deposited in your bank, you would be so excited. You would feel joy. You would have a conditional response. And so that's the thing though. If it's in your bank account right now, you feel good. But if it's in your vibrational bank account, then you don't feel as good, when it's just as real. That's the thing, is that it's just as real. And you say, well, it's real, but I can't see it yet. So that must mean that it's not real. It's becoming more real. And that's a really good way to put it. It's becoming more real. You're being more able to perceive it. You're getting better at perceiving this desire. And the way that you get better at perceiving your desire is by practicing it. You see, when your desire feels good to you, then you can continue thinking about it. You can continue getting more specific, because when you get more specific, then the energy gets a lot faster. And then there's more power. There's more focus. And that's what geniuses are. They're able to focus on their pure desire simply because it feels so good. And so they're very single-minded. They like to think about the things that make them feel good. And since this desire, they find a way to activate the pure desire and focus. Because they're so good at focusing, that's what makes them a genius, because they're able to carve out the thought pathway. You see, you have to carve out the thought pathway to your desire. You have to carve the thought pathway to your manifestation. In the same way, you have to create the vibrational atmosphere for it. And that's actually not that hard. What makes it hard is thinking that you have to be the one that manifests it. You have to wait for the money to fall into your bank account. But what we're saying is that how you feel right now in terms of your vibrational fortune, and how you would feel if it was actually in your bank account right now, it's not different. You see, according to law of attraction doesn't know the difference between the two. It doesn't know the difference between you actually having money in your bank account or feeling like you have it. And the only thing about you that is not as you're not as willing to go with that understanding of reality is that you're conditional. You have a reality, so it's not as real to you. You're like, okay, it's real, but I'm still waiting for the other shoe to drop because it's not real. But we're trying to get you to understand that it's real, and emotion is real. You can't see it, but you can feel it. And if you can understand that, if by the time you're feeling an emotion, if you can just continue on that thought pathway, if you continue on your path and not take score and not beat yourself up because you don't see it yet, but you sort of have that faith, you have the understanding that I have the feeling of it, so it is going to manifest. So you're spending more time in anticipation and optimism, then it must be manifested. And you see, because your desire already exists, so it's not absent, it's just in the state of becoming. But you know what makes manifesting really hard, and not exactly hard. The thing is, it's only hard if you're not a good focuser, because you have to be a good focuser. You have strong desire, and if you're not a good focuser, that means that you're focusing on a little bit of everything. So you're a mixed bag. So your vibrational mix has a little bit of everything. So that means that you're not as focused. You're not discriminating. You're just throwing everything on your plate at the buffet, and that's great for some people, but it's not great for you, because you have strong desire. You have to be focused, because if you're not focused, let's say it this way, a desire that doesn't feel good to you is torturous. It will torture you. A desire that you have resistance about because you have bogus thoughts about, that you observe reality about, that you have a past with, they're going to torture you. And the thing about those desires is that they will torture you and they will always win, because those desires have source energy. They have the momentum of well-being, of non-physical energy, the energy that creates worlds backing them up. So it will outlive you. Your eternal there are some for some people, they'll have to wait until they're no longer in this body to fully receive everything that this life caused them to want, but not you, because you have strong desire and you understand that focusing is really the name of the game. You can focus, you understand how to focus, and all you have to do is focus to feel good. You don't have to focus for the whole manifestation. You know, the emotion is so easy to get. And that's the thing, is that since the emotion is so easy to get, it feels a little fake. It feels like a trick. It feels like you're being deceptive, but it's not. You're just understanding the laws of the universe. All you have to do is focus on the emotion. You focus on the emotion of why you want it. Focus on the emotion of why you want it. And as you focus on the emotion of why you want it, then it has to come to you. But the thing is, if that's not the case, if your desires are not rolling and making their way to and unfolding in a way where you're physically able to see it in a very steady, fun way, then it could be for only one reason only. You're spending more time talking about the absence of it, because it is absent, and you're spending more time looking back. You're spending more time looking at what your current reality is, and this current reality that you're able to see right now, this manifestation is already the past. Is no longer the current reality, because this past, you know, this what is moment, it really is past. It is past, because this is the platform that you're standing on, and as you're standing on this platform of this now moment, in this now manifestation, wherever you are, you're literally launching new rockets. So your inner being has already taken off. So this is now your past moment. But the human tendency is to look back, is to be realistic, and to be sort of observant, because you can't help. That's the thing, is that you can't help but have these five senses. So you have this reality, and this reality makes it hard to manifest. It makes it hard to, it's not that it makes it hard to be well, you know what it is? It makes it hard to be a match to your desire, because it's easier to be a match to the absence of your desire, because that's what you're seeing. And the human sort of logic is, if I don't see it, if I haven't seen it, then there's probably a chance that I'm not gonna ever see it. And that's because you're basing, and humans base their expectation on where they have been and what has happened in their past. But in reality, their past, it doesn't matter. It matters to you because you're looking at it. It matters to you because you're conditional, because you can't feel apart from the reality, but you have to feel apart from the reality that you're seeing, and you can do it because you care more about how you feel now. You understand that feeling good is so much more than an emotion. Well, it is an emotion, but what we mean by feeling good is so much more than what you think it is, because you're really vibrational. So when you're feeling good, you're actually tuning into source. You and source are being one, because you are more than your body. So you understand that. And of course you understand that. How could you not? Because you understand, you feel the resonance of these words. You know who you are, and you know that you came here with great purpose, and that purpose was joy, and you came here with strong desire. And we don't want for a second for you to think that we're ever telling you just, you know, quiet down and sit in a corner and try to be as non-resistant, because you're never going to get rid of resistance while you're in this body. Because the thing is, if you really were not a fan of, or if you really wanted, you know, no resistance and sort of that pure, you know, complete immersion with source energy, then you would have returned back to your source energy already. You would have returned back into the non-physical already. You would have honestly not come, but you're down because you wanted to not only create a vortex, but you wanted to also see that vortex through to the fruition, the final fruition, the physical form, the leading edge. You want to see the thoughts turn into things because you knew that you could do it. And that's the thing, is that you can do all of it. But everything that you want is already 99% completed vibrationally before you see any evidence of it. You know, your book is already a number one best-selling on the New York Times list, even before you even know what the book is about. Everything is already ready for you. All the parts have been lined up. Everything has already been lined up in the vortex, because your inner being is working on your behalf, gathering all the cooperative components, holding it all for you, never forgetting, never taking its eye. But you're over here, and you know what messes up your attraction? What is reality? Reality is so in the way, and it's not that reality is bad. It's just that you love looking at it. You love pigeonholing it. You love talking about it, and you know what you really do that really sort of gets you focused in the opposite direction of what you want. You justify it. You start to figure out reasoning behind it, motives. Okay, why did this happen to me? Why am I where I am? Like, I should be better. Because it's not that you don't believe that what you want isn't coming, because you understand all this. You have seen this. You're a genius creator. You have seen the law of attraction in action for yourself. You know that you can have whatever you want because you've seen it. You know that the vortex exists because you've shifted how you felt, and you notice that. You notice what happens next, and you notice that you can change the outcome simply by changing how you feel. You know how all this works. So sometimes what's really left over, or what's kind of bothering you, or what's in your vibration that is causing your resistance, is that it's almost like, well, what about all the times where I didn't manifest what I want? What does that have to say about me? What about all this time I haven't been able to manifest it? What does that mean? Well, what do I say about that? And it's like you're explaining why you are where you are to an invisible council, because as kids you were taught to do that. When you ask kids to explain their their reasoning. They say because they avert your eyes. They don't want to meet your gaze. They want to be anywhere but there, because they understand that they're not in the business of explaining themselves, because they don't need to explain themselves, because they don't understand reality. They don't understand that what is something that you're bound to, something that you have to stand in front of this council, from the entire council of all of humankind, and defend yourself, explain yourself. Why are you here? Because that's not the way it is, because no one's asking. You see, what is not neutral, because you're perceiving it. So it's whatever that's the thing, is that you're perceiving what is, and in your perceiving of what is, you're spending too much time on it. And ultimately what is you don't have enough money. What is you don't have enough of this, of that. But the thing is, it doesn't matter, because no one cares. Your inner being is already gone. Your inner being is becoming the vibrational equivalent of everything that you want, and you're over here messing up your attraction, slowing what you would want down, because you're too busy explaining why you don't have it, explaining why don't I have it, why don't I have it. So you're not able to stay up to speed with the rockets, because when life causes you to want something, at first the idea feels really good to you. You're like, oh, like this idea feels good to me. I'm gonna really like having money. I'm gonna spend it. And then there's a but. If you're not very good at maintaining momentum, or if you're not very good at ignoring reality and feeling and caring more about how you feel, and sort of being irresponsible, as many would say, being selfish, because you got to be selfish. You got to care for your connection. That's what it is. You really got to care for your connection. So when that desire is fresh in your mind, you want to continue that flow. You don't want to kill it with a but, because that's contradicting your own energy. That's what slows down your manifestations. And you know what the biggest contradiction is? You know why your desires get slowed down? Because you're not seeing it right now. Because you don't see it right now, and you want to explain it. You want to explain why you can't see it right now. And you know what we say? Why does it matter? Because you're like, well, if I don't explain it, if I don't go down to the the nitty gritty, if I don't try to figure out why it's there, meaning this like the reason for the problem, then I'm bound to experience it. And we're like, it's actually the opposite. The more you dig into it, the bigger that hole gets, and the more you're bound to experience it. Thing is, if you don't give your attention to it, and the kids know this, if you don't give your attention to it, it falls out of your experience, because of your deactivation of your attention, because your attention to something invites it in. So if you're looking at reality, and just because it's real, just because you can see it, you're thinking about it, you're mulling it over, you're trying to explain it, trying to pigeonhole it, so you can't keep up with your desires when you're doing that, because that's the opposite of those pure desires. That's yearning. That's you wanting to fill a hole within you with this manifestation, and it never works, because you can manifest it, but the thing is, when you manifest it, you're gonna be depressed once you get there, because it's like, I waited all this time to go on vacation, and then the vacation went by so fast, and now I'm here, post vacation, and now what? And so we don't want that for you. We want a steady unfolding, because you know the laws of the universe. You don't have to justify why you are where you are. You don't need to do that, because no one cares. That's the thing, is there's no invisible counsel. You don't have to care about what other people think about you, because none of them are your inner being. None of them have the key to your vortex. Only your inner being does. So only your inner being's perspective of you matters. And since you're the perceiver of your own experience, it's only about what you think about what everyone is thinking about you. It's about your opinion of their opinion. You're making it up. And so you don't need to mess your manifestations up. You can go with the flow. You can be forward looking. Being forward looking is not that it's not easy. It's hard, because when you're forward looking, you look back. And we don't want you to try to quiet your desires down and just not want to stay there and be still. We want you to want. We want you to have strong desire. We want you to dream big. We want you to dream it big. And we don't mean big as in, it's harder to get, and it's more elaborate, and it's more intense, and it's something that's so far-fetched. We don't want that at all. What we want, the dreaming big, we want you to dream as big as you can, because you want to, and then your work is to catch up with the desire. Your job is not to make the desires little or smaller or lower them. You're going to raise your frequency to join the desire. You're going to raise your belief. You're going to prepare yourself to receive it, because that's what we're talking about. We're talking about a vibration at first, or let's say better, you're giving birth to a vibration, and at first that vibration is not familiar to, because of what is, because of reality. And instead of defending why why it's unfamiliar and why you don't want the opposite of it, you're going with it. You're going with the flow. You're feeling good. You're doing what you can to stay up to speed with it. And as you stay up to speed with it, then it has to come into your experience, because you don't need to observe reality in the sense where you don't need to justify it. You don't need to explain yourself. You've already done all that. And it isn't interesting, is that where does it really lead you? It leads you to more resistance. And so you don't need to do that anymore. What you need to do, though, is stay up to speed with your desire, because you're getting the ultimate prize when you stay up to speed. You're feeling good, and that's what you really want, the emotion. And if you can understand that the emotion is the prize and the emotion is your goal, it's not the manifestation, because when the manifestation is your goal, it's so funny, because as physical creatures, when the manifestation is the goal, then you always introduce where you are. You always introduce exactly where you are in relationship to that desire on that subject. So instead of, because what it is, you highlight where you are, you notice where you are, and then you want to explain it, because you can't just abandon. You can't just stop looking behind. or looking back, you want to mull over, you want to be like, okay, stop. And that's the thing, is that you're getting lost on the path. And not because you don't have a guidance system that's telling you that you're getting lost, because you're buying into the reality of reality, and you're so enamored in it, and you want to talk about it, and you want to pigeonhole it, you want to describe it, and you want to be like, hey, it's not my fault, this is why it's happening to me. You can't just let it be something that you're forgetting, because it almost feels wrong, it feels deceptive. We're telling you, it's all up to you. It's your opinion, it's your perspective. And what we're saying is, we wouldn't look back, because you know why? Your inner being never looks back. Your inner being that never cares. And the kids, they know that. The little ones, they know that, because they don't look back. They don't know what they did about yesterday. They don't feel bad about what they did, because their inner being isn't feeling bad. But you teach them to feel bad, because you teach them to care about what you think about what they're doing, because you're the vortex. When in reality, they have their own vortex. You have your own guidance system, and you don't need to get lost in the path anymore, because justifying why you don't have it, that's what gets you lost in the past. But now you understand that your emotion is the best way to understand your progress. And if you can allow the positive emotion to be just, the progress of how well you're really doing, the success, then the details must be given to you. The details must fill in. And if you're feeling the emotion, then the greatest manifestation has already happened. The real manifestation has already happened. And the rest is just easy. You see, creating your reality is so easy when you understand that your emotions, how you feel, tell you everything. But in the vein of trying to be realistic and explain why you are where you are, then you go off the negative emotion, and you are okay with it, because at least you're being real. But we don't want you to be real. We want you to be dreamers. Daydream. Enjoy your life. Enjoy the image in your mind, because when you enjoy the image in your mind, that image is going to inspire you to action, and that's real creation.